Yeah. So hope you all have completed assignment 8, which we already did in in our class.
Yeah, it's done.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Just try out whatever we do in the class. Just try out, and if you face any issues, probably let me know, and then we can fix them, or we could get to know better on those issues, right? So yeah, this is the thing which we have discussed about lookup relationships yesterday. So we created hiring manager and position object, and then we created a field of relationship data type, which is lookup. So yes, so this is all we have talked about yesterday. So some of the observations on the lookup relationship, like it is having one to many association, and lookup relation can be applicable between the objects even though child object has pre-existing records, or it can we can even do reparenting in lookup relation. We can make the fields as mandatory in the lookup relation, and we can have maximum of 40 lookup relationships per object. And yeah, these are some of the properties which we have talked about yesterday. So today, let us go ahead and talk about uh, master detail relationships. Okay. So yeah, as part of lookup relationship, we have already created hiring manager and position objects. So today, let us go ahead and create an object called candidate object, so that we would be creating a master detail relationship between the position and the candidate object. So yes, apart from the relationship, we have another topic called schema builder. So which is used to create objects from the scratch. We can instead of going to the object manager and creating an object, we can even create objects in the schema builder as well. So I'm going to show you the demo how we are going to work with schema builder. So again, coming to our back topic, master detail association. For that, we are creating an object called candidate object because we want our task is to create a master detail relationship between position and candidate. So let's go back to schema builder. Okay, so I'm on my Salesforce org. Go to schema builder. See here, you see schema builder. So usually for any kind of keywords, if you just need to search them, go to setup, and in the quick find box, you can go ahead and type that uh, a part of a word which is given. So we can find it directly. So I am in the schema builder now. See, this is our yesterday's task which we have created a lookup relationship between hiring manager and position. So So I'm going to create a new object called candidate uh, by making use of schema builder. Okay, so here how to create an object, just go to these elements which is present on it left side, and here we have an object symbol, right? So you just need to drag and drop it here. So this is how we create a new object. So our object name is candidate, plural name is candidates. Okay, open standard candidate name. So I'm using it for allow reports, activities, track field history, and I'm marking it as deployed. Yeah, there's also notes and attachments. If you want, you can check it and save. Okay, so I guess I have already created an object called candidate. So what I will do is I will go ahead and create uh, an object called prospects, which is same as candidate. Okay. So see, so our object is created with all the standard fields created by last modified by name owner, and there is one other hidden field which is called ID. Okay, so this is our object which is created. So if you want to verify whether this is created, you go to your Salesforce org, go to the object manager and see your prospect. See, your custom object prospect has been created. Okay. Okay. So now what we are going to do is create fields in that prospect object. So since the candidate is already there in my system, I could have created it previously. You can go ahead and create either candidate or prospect, whatever. Candidate would be better because the name, by the name itself, you can understand it. So in this candidate object, let us go ahead and create all these fields. So candidate name, reference ID, location, location should be a pick list. And this LOVs means list of values. So we need to supply the list of values for the pick list. And years of experience, it's a pick list again, 0 to 20, contact number of data type phone, and we should mark it as required because we need the contact. Email address also, mm, mm, the data type is email and we need to mark it as required. Current CTC, expected CTC, the data type is currency. Notice period, again, pick list, PAN number, and passport number, technical skills. This is also a pick list. Okay. So these fields we are going to create to our candidate object. So when I say candidate, it's prospect in my system, but you can create it as candidate in your system. Okay. So we will be creating all these fields with the help of schema builder. So we saw how we created object in the schema builder. Now we would be creating. So here, so first one is our candidate name, It's a standard field. So the name field is already available. So we don't need to create it. So the next field is reference ID. Let me create this field reference ID. So reference ID, I'm using it as auto number because it should be a number. So just drag this auto number and drop it on this object, and the label should be reference ID. Field name should be reference ID. And here, this is just an auto number which we can, tell the system how to do it. So I'm doing it as CID hyphen, keep it as some 6 digits. So we can, for auto number, we can either tell the system what to do it, starting from where, or we can also use this feature, generate auto number for existing. So this also we can do it, but since we don't have any existing records now, so I'm going with the starting number as 8,000. Okay. So auto numbers will be generated from 8,000 onwards, 8,000, 8,001, 8,002, something like that. And you can click save. So our reference ID is created. The next one is location, which is a pick list. So here check for the pick list. So here we have the pick list, drag and drop here, and label, give the label name. Okay, so this pick list values I have already given. It should be list of values. So in the values field, you can mention. So here I'm using a new line for the pick list to display it properly. So, so we have learned something called pick list, right? A data type. So this is how a pick list looks like. So it's just a drop down list in our normal language, whereas in Salesforce it's called pick list. So we get a list of values here. So we can either make any value as default. We can mark them as alphabetically. So I don't want to do any of these options. I just did not check them. Check the check boxes, and I clicked on save. So our location is created. Next is a pick list again for qualification. So drag and drop the pick list here. Give the field label and the list of values. Here it says enter the values with each value separated by a new line. So, so it clearly instructs us how to give the values here as well. So that's the reason I'm giving each value in a new line instead of comma separated values. And click on save. Our qualification field is created. Next one is years of experience. Okay, again, it's a pick list. So drag and drop this pick list again. We have the field label and It should be 0. This is the number of years of experience a person is having. So for this position, we are having 0 to 20 years of experience. And the contact number, next one, it's a phone or data type. So go to data type of phone, drag and drop here. It's a contact number. See, our instruction says to mark this field as required. So we need to check this checkbox because we need the person's contact number in order to call him and update him the details. Okay. So I marked it as required. So next one is email address. Again, of type, data type will be email. So here we have email, and this also I'm marking it as e required field, and we can see here, you can see another extra option, unique. Do not allow the duplicate values. So luckily we are getting this option inbuilt with Salesforce CRM. If not, also we can do it by using something called, by writing some rules in order not to accept duplicate values, validation rules we call it. Okay, so yeah, I'm directly using this rule. Duplicates will not be allowed, and save. So the next one, currency TC, currency. So see, we are making use of all types of data types. So in our current CTC, what we mentioned, maximum 8 digits. So the length I'm using is 8 digits and decimal places. Since it's currency, we can go ahead and give decimal places as well. So I'm giving just decimal places required. So current CTC, it's not mandatory as per our requirement. So I'm just not checking that checkbox. And in the expected CTC, it is marked as required. Again, the currency. So this one I need it for, as a hiring manager, I need this detail for my budget planning based on the candidate's skills and all. Yeah. So I want to mark this field as required. Next is the notice period. It's a pick list. So we have values like immediate, 1 month, 2 months, something like that, based on the notice period of each company. It differs company to company. So 1 week, 15 days, 1 month, 2 month, 3 months. Okay, display values alphabetically, not required. Use the first value as default, not required. So that is so I need the PAN number and passport number. So let me create. So PAN number, it's just text. I'm using the text data type. So usually PAN number is 10 places, 10 digits or characters, alphanumerical. And they are asking to mark this field as required. I'm not going with unique. It's okay. So this is PAN number. Next one is passport text, 10 characters. Another field label is passport of 10 characters. I'm not marking it as required. We don't need so many details of the candidate. And then the technical skills, pick list, multi-select. So I'm going ahead and creating pick list multi-select. Okay, so this is a multi-select. So here we can actually write whatever the skills, maybe let's see. Okay, we'll write first a Salesforce Apex. So these are the skills which he can select multiple values as well as the data type says. So he can select more than one value. Whereas in pick list, we can select only one value. In pick list multi-select, we can select as many values. Okay, so this is how our candidate object is created, and we have created all the fields in it. Let us go ahead and verify whether all these fields are created or not. So let me refresh this. So go to fields and relationships. You can see all the fields are created, right? So we have created all the fields in it. So here, one of the main drawback of schema builder is so if we create an object from object manager, just using the create, we get an option to select the tab. But here for our, if at all we build our we create an object using the schema builder, it is not going to create a tab by default. So we will have to create it manually. So that's one of the drawback of creating of the schema builder. So so if you go to the tabs, see here, see we see only this two, hiring managers and positions. So I think a candidate object also I created it maybe from schema builder. So for this prospects object, I have to create a, see, prospect object, and we can select the tab style. Hmm. Okay. So any kind of tab which you want to select. You can select the tab style and choose a home page, enter the description, and then click on save. Click on the next. Okay, apply tab visibility to all profiles. Yes, click on next and include. So I'm selecting everything and click on save. So now we can see our prospects or the candidate object having a tab. Okay, so that means we can have add this on our tab bar. So this is one of the major drawback of schema builder while creating an object. So yes, we have created our uh, candidate object and we have created all the fields in the candidate object. So now what we are going to do is we are going to create so for the relationship, the major points which we discussed yesterday, the two important points is to identify which is the parent, which is the child object. And the second step is to map the relationship between those two from the parent object to the child object. Sorry, from the child object to the parent object, map the association. So that is, those are the two steps which we have learned in our previous class. Yeah, identify the parent and child object, map the association among the objects from child to the parent. Okay. So here in our case, okay. So we will have to identify whether position or candidate object, which one is the parent, which one is the child. So in that case, we just need to understand there are two objects, position and candidates. Okay. Position can have multiple records. Okay, maybe it's a Salesforce technical lead, a position, Salesforce administrator, another position, and candidates. Also, we have a number of candidates: Ram Kumar, Satish, something. So many candidates are there. So how we can understand which can be related to what? So for one single position, there are chances like there can be multiple people applying for one position, right? So there is a position called Salesforce administrator. So for that particular position, we have candidates uh, who multiple candidates in the candidate object who can apply for that position. So that means we are having a relationship from candidate to position that is many to one association we can see it, right? So in this case, let's go other way around. Okay. So one particular position, can it be associated with multiple candidates? Yes. Can one single candidate apply multiple positions? Yes. So there means this means that there is many to many relationship between these two objects. So since our organization of which is our application talent acquisition, so we have this candidate position object which is having many to one and one to many, like it's a combination of both, that is the many to many association. So we understand that this is going to be the parent object and candidate is going to be the child object because we are having the relationship from the candidate object to the position object. So a candidate can apply to the one position or multiple positions. So position is the parent and candidate is the child object. So that is what we have found. And then we have to create master detail relationship between the objects. Create a master detail relationship field inside the candidate object, which references to position object. Like we were doing it yesterday. So we are just creating this uh, So we are going to create a field, a relationship field master detail from the candidate object to our position object. Okay. So in my case, candidate is prospect. So I'm going to that object, go to fields and relationships, and here create a field new of type master detail relationship. Click on next. Yeah, this is more important to which object it is related. So I need to select position object, click on next. Yes, see the options here. Child relationship name is prospects. Yeah, our candidate or prospect. See the options here. Read only, read write. So there is a radio button, read only. Allows users with at least read access to the master record to create, edit, or delete related detail records. Read write allows users with at least read write access to master record can create, edit, delete related detail records. So here you can, as we can see from the definition of master detail relationship. So our there is a dependency of the detail object on the master object. So if there is some change going to happen on the master object, it is going to be reflected on the detail object, and we cannot you know delete a child object. We cannot do that. So first we will have to uh, delete the relationship field between the master detail, and then only we can delete the child object. And the child object is not going to behave independent. It is going to be dependent on the master object. So that's the major difference between lookup relationship and master detail relationship. And there is one other important point. Yeah, the list of points are there. Uh, so if we have pre-existing records in the child object, so we cannot map a master detail relationship. We cannot map it. So we will have to first map each of these records in the child to the master first, and then only we can map the master detail relationship between the two objects. So that's the one drawback. I will share that screen and discuss those points. Yeah, click on next. Visibility, you can click visible to all, and this is the default page layout for our prospect object. So I'm using the same. Click on next. Save. So now we can see a field, a relationship field of type master detail has been created towards our position object. So this is a relationship field between the position object and our candidate object. So this is how we have associated master detail relationship between our position and candidate objects. So let's talk about the properties here, the observations of this master detail relationship. So master detail association provides one-to-many relationship between the objects. A parent record can be associated with one or more child records. As said, yeah, master detail association can't be applicable or the child object if it contains pre-existing records. So if a child record, If the child object is having pre-existing records, then we cannot create a master detail relationship between them. For that, there is a special process. Yeah, okay. Solutions. So we have to remove all the child records from the object permanently and then map master detail relationship. One solution. The other one is we have to map lookup relationship between the objects first, and then make sure each child record should be associated with the parent. So this way, once all the childs are associated with parents, and convert this association type to from lookup to master detail. So yes. So if the child record is having pre-existing records, we cannot create a master detail relationship between them. So for that, we have a solution here. And yes, as you can see here, we can convert a relationship of type lookup to master detail, a relationship of type master detail to lookup as well. We can do that. In master detail association, while creating child record, lookup field is required. Each child record should be associated with a parent. So in the master detail, as said, there should be a lookup field for the child which is present in the master. So there should be a field. Reparenting option is not available by default. We have to enable this option manually by selecting the checkbox allow. So while creating the relationship, probably this checkbox would have been displayed. So allow reparenting, we can check the checkbox for this option to appear for us. Upon removing the parent record, all the related child records will get removed automatically by default. One, this is one major point which you should note down. See, upon removing the parent record, all the child records will be removed. So whereas in lookup relationships, so if you remove a parent record, child record is not affected. Whereas in master detail, if we remove a parent record, all the related child records to that particular parent record will be removed by default. Yes. So this is the, by name itself, you can understand master detail. So master is controlling the child object records as well. Sharing settings, security settings of the child is purely dependent on the parent. Hence, parent record contains the owner field, but the child record won't have the owner field. So this also in lookup relationship, parent record will have owner field and the child record will also have owner field. Whereas in master detail, a parent record will only contain the owner field, but child record won't contain owner field because child record will be controlled by the parent, or child is dependent on the parent. Roll-up summary fields can be applicable on master detail relationship. So I would explain you what is roll-up summary field. An object can have, so lookup, we can have up to maximum of 40 lookup relationships, whereas master detail, we can have only 2 master detail relationships. So for each object, we can create maximum of 2 master detail relationships. For each object, we can create lookup relationships of 40. In master detail association, standard object should always be the parent object. It should not be the child object. See, this is one other important difference. So in the lookup relationships, we can go with any combination. Standard object child, standard object parent, custom object child, custom object can be parent. So any combination we can go for. Whereas in master detail association, standard object should always be the parent, it should not be the child. So we cannot map an association of type master detail relationship with standard object being child. It cannot be. So standard object should always be the parent object, whereas our custom object should be a child object. So that's one major uh, difference of lookup and master detail. Okay, so yeah, this is let's complete this topic as well. So converting a master detail, converting a lookup to a master detail and master detail to a lookup. So we can convert a lookup into a master detail by changing the data type of relationship field from lookup relationship to master detail. Just changing that field, we can do it, but only prerequisite, we have one prerequisite here. We should make sure each child record inside the child object should be associated with the parent object. So for every child object, there is a parent object. So that is what we will have to make sure. Then we can directly go ahead and change the relationship type, go to setup, edit object, and in that fields and relationships, look up relationship field, click on the field name, edit and change field type, select the new data type. So as we are doing while creating a field, we will have to select the data type as master detail and click on save. So these are the steps. Yeah, I would share this document with you. So these are the steps how we are going to convert a lookup relationship field into a master detail relationship. And coming to converting master detail to a lookup, it is straightforward. The reason being master detail is um the complex. So to convert it into lookup to master, it's a complex task. But from master detail to lookup, it's easy. It's straightforward option. We will have to change the data type of the field from master detail to lookup. So and then the control is gone, the control of the master on the child is gone. They will have a plain lookup relationship, the parent object and the child object. So that is about how we can convert. And coming to hierarchical relationships allows us to map the relationship of the object with itself. Yes, we will have every object will have a relationship to itself. So yes, relationship can map it, and both parent records and child records will get existed in the same object. And one other important point here is we can apply the hierarchical relationship only on the user object. So other objects we cannot apply, or we cannot map the hierarchical uh, relationship. We can map the association of a user record with another user record on the role. So I was telling you, right? So CEO can have a hierarchical relationship with CFO, Chief Financial Officer. So they will have the hierarchical relationship, and both of them are, if you know, it's a user objects. Both are user objects, not any custom objects or standard objects, but a standard user object. So this is all about today's class. I would share you this assignment to you. Probably you can go ahead and create it in your org and come up with questions, or make use of the schema builder and create this. So yeah, uh, and let me know if you have any questions in the tomorrow's class. Yeah, that is all for today. I have another call to join. Thank you so much. Good day.